GovTech will never be saturated. Our nation is constantly facing new challenges every single day. While the world becomes more digital, complex, and interconnected, our government has to always stay on top of it. From protecting against cyber attacks and improving infrastructure, there's always work that needs to be done. And that gives somebody like you the opportunity to land a career in the most recession-proof industry on earth. So you might be wondering, what is GovTech and what tech careers are actually in the government technology sector? So GovTech is basically doing any type of tech work for the government or government contractor companies. So you don't necessarily need to work for the federal government itself. You can work for a government contractor company, which does majority of the work for the federal government, which is why they get paid so well. There are many different government contractors out there. There's over 100 different government contractors that you can work for, and they are being awarded billion-dollar contracts every single day. So with you working in the tech industry, you can get a piece of this pie by working in GovTech. GovTech as a whole is growing because the government needs to digitize most of their services and infrastructure. So there are not enough people who have the technical skills to do this. And there also aren't enough people who have government security clearances that can actually get the work done as well. So there is a huge opportunity in this field over the next 10 to 15 years. Most people think that the government work is very boring, but trust me, there's technology that has been developed by the government and government contractor companies that you have never seen before. So with our world becoming more digital, the government has to keep up, and they also have to outpace all of the other countries in terms of technology. So this is a great space to be in. Any tech career that you can think of is in the GovTech space, from software engineering to cybersecurity, data engineering, networking, cloud engineering. So literally any career that you can think of in tech is in GovTech as well. So this is a major opportunity for you if you want to work inside of this sector. By working in the GovTech industry, you are able to create massive change in the world. There are things that you are going to be working on that you may see on the news. There are things that you may be working on that impacts the entire nation. So there is a lot of impact and a lot of passion goes into working into this career. But trust me, it's definitely worth it, even though you have to jump through a few hoops to get in, but it's not that difficult to get into the GovTech industry if you know where to look at. So most people, when they think about getting into tech, they think about all of the different FANG companies like Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, all of those type of major companies. But trust me, it's much harder to get a job in FANG than it is in GovTech. Only 0.001% of people get jobs in FANG. So if you want to work in that industry, you need to be the cream of the crop, the best candidate out there to work in FANG. If you want to work in the GovTech industry, you don't have to be the best in the world to do it. You just have to be open to doing the work and going through the process to get a government security clearance. And not all roles require a government security clearance. So if you want to get into this career, you don't have to go through the government clearance process if you don't want to. But trust me, it will make you much more valuable in this industry, and it makes you more recession-proof and layoff-proof. I think that if more people knew about the GovTech industry, this would be people's dream career. I've been in the GovTech industry since I was 16 years old, and it's been nothing but good to me. So I've been able to have job security my entire career. So since the age of 16 to the age of 31, I've never had to worry about being laid off because I have so much job security working in the GovTech sector. If you want the most job security in the GovTech industry, you want to look for roles that are sponsoring government clearances. Every single job that you see on usajobs.gov, which is the federal government's job board, every single job on there is sponsoring a clearance. If you go look at jobs for other government contractor companies on websites like clearancejobs.com, what you want to do is look for the phrase must have the ability to obtain a U.S. government security clearance. Once you see that phrase, that's exactly what you're looking for, and that means that they will sponsor your government security clearance. And since you are in tech and you have technical skills, you're highly in demand. There are 400,000 unfilled tech roles right now, so imagine how much the demand is in GovTech. In GovTech right now, the president is actually having a huge initiative to hire more cybersecurity professionals and just tech professionals in general. So this is the space that you want to be at, and all you need to do is look for those roles with the keywords must have the ability to obtain U.S. government security clearance, and you'll get your foot in the door. And since everybody doesn't have a government security clearance and does not want to work in this industry will never be saturated. And it can't be saturated because you just can't find somebody walking on the street who has a government security clearance. So if you can't find a bunch of people with government security clearances, how could it ever become saturated? Only 1 in 5 people have a government security clearance, so that makes you much more valuable once you get into this industry. The government is what keeps our nation running, so the government literally has its hand in everything from public transportation, public education, national security, global transportation, literally anything that you can think of, any government agency that you can think of, that is where GovTech comes in. There are over 400 different government agencies and every single one needs tech professionals. So there is always a demand for technical professionals in the GovTech space. And the best thing about the GovTech industry is that it does not matter what is happening in the economy, the government always needs to run and it always needs to function. If you work as a federal government employee, you don't really have too many things to worry about besides government shutdowns. If the government does shut down, you'll be back at work 2 to 3 weeks later and they give you back pay. But if you're a government contractor, you don't ever stop working as long as you're doing mission critical work, which tech is inside of the government industry, which GovTech is considered mission critical in this industry. So you don't worry about not working or not getting paid as a government contractor. There are so many myths when it comes to federal government versus government contractor workers, but I'll get into that in a completely different video. So while you see massive layoffs in other tech sectors, in the GovTech sector, you have not seen layoffs whatsoever. So working in this industry will make you recession proof and layoff proof because you have technical skills that are specific to what the government needs and you have the government security clearance. So this is literally the best industry for you to work in. Especially at a time like this, job security is the most important thing. So you want to make sure that you are aligning yourself up and setting yourself up for success in your tech career. GovTech is even future proof. AI does not affect it either. And the reason why AI does not affect GovTech is because we need actual people to do the work. So we cannot put any specific or classified government information into things like ChatGPT or Bard or whatever type of AI tool that you're using. That information can't go into these other AI systems, so AI won't be affecting GovTech whatsoever. Even if you're worried about AI taking away your job, again, we need actual people there. We need real human beings that have government clearances to do the work that the government needs done. So there's no need for you to worry about AI whatsoever in this industry. And just to give you an idea of how long some things take to be implemented in the GovTech industry, GovCloud is a specific cloud infrastructure only for the government, and it took about 15 years just to get fully implemented. And cloud has been around for forever, right? So I wouldn't really worry about AI whatsoever in the GovTech industry. The government also has a lot of legacy systems that either need to be upgraded or they need to be maintained. So if you're somebody who understands these legacy systems or understands how to upgrade these legacy systems, that always gives you work to do. So the government is going to always need upgrades and improvement, and by you being a tech professional, you can be there to support either the infrastructure side, the services side, or by doing the actual development. So all of these things make GovTech the most recession-proof industry. The government cannot go out of business. If the government goes out of business, trust me, we have bigger problems to worry about. Government services are essential even during economic downturns, so it does not really matter what's going on in the economy or what's even happening in the world, because you are always going to be an essential worker doing mission critical work because you work in GovTech. With the world changing so fast, the government is always going to be improving their technologies and trying to stay ahead of the game, because if the government does not stay ahead, they will fall behind other countries, and that's not what we want. So the government is always going to be doing new upgrades, or they're also going to be just developing and researching new technologies that the world hasn't even seen before. And that's great for you as a tech professional because you're the one who's going to be there doing the work when the government needs it done. So if you want to get into the GovTech industry, you need to focus on finding those jobs that are sponsoring government clearances. You also should be focusing on going to different networking events, and you can go either in person or virtual, but I highly suggest in person. And you should also be putting your resume and updating your LinkedIn and getting certifications that the government wants wants you to have. Now, the government has a specific baseline of certifications, and we'll get into that in a completely different video as well, but focus on getting the right certifications and the right qualifications, and you will be able to get you a job in the GovTech industry. So you don't need a degree to get into this industry, but if you're somebody who has a degree, that's a plus, and you can definitely start looking for jobs at any time in this industry. You just have to start looking for the jobs that say must have ability to obtain U.S. government security clearance, and you'll be well on your way to working in the GovTech industry. So if you do all of these things, that will position you for success in the GovTech sector, and it will allow you to have a long-lasting career as well. So in conclusion, get a job in GovTech, stop looking at big tech, and start looking at ways to get a position in the GovTech industry. Trust me, this is the most recession-proof industry that you can work in. If you're interested in getting into GovTech and landing a recession-proof role in the next 90 days, I show people exactly how to land a high-paying GovTech job, whether you're in school or you've never been in school and you want to gain those technical skills to break into the GovTech industry. It'll be the first link in the description below. And if you want to see more videos like these, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tech gems on the way.